one big puff of smoke here on Season's campus as the fire that had broken out less than an hour ago in Porter Ranch gets closer to the campus. Residents are finally able to return back home to assess the damage that was done from the fire that blazed over the weekend. But here in the San Fernando Valley, men find a way to meet each person's need with dignity. For just $39, a guest may come in after the park closes and experience a fright. From registering at the main desk to waiting for a name to be called and bagging your own food. For many residents in this local food pantry, it is a way to fight high prices and job layoffs. Operation Director Ben Brown says men provides families with enough food for a well-balanced meal. Food pantries across the nation are having to limit the amount of food given to each person as well as the quantity of people they serve. But here in the San Fernando Valley, men find a way to meet each person's need with dignity. The donations come from local businesses, clubs, and schools such as Cal State Northridge. Graduate assistant Marissa Garcia put together a food drive this year in collaboration with Matador Nights.
The way that we can assist men and we can have a greater output from the campus community is to make sure that we slightly change the way that we market the event so more students are aware of the drive so they can contribute.
Although one woman could not have her face shown because of being a victim of domestic violence, she, along with others, are not afraid to say what MEND is doing for them.
MEND is helping a lot of us women who are in domestic violence shelters, not only just the homeless or the needy.
So at the end of the day nears and people are leaving with bags in their hands or in strollers, the volunteers at MEND know that those people should not go hungry. In Pacoima, Julie White for Valley View.
60 is the new 40.
That's coming directly from a 58-year-old who expected to retire by 55. Deborah Masterson is one of many California residents deciding when to retire. Masterson's generation has learned a lot about how to stay healthy, which has enabled them to retire at a later age.
And I think one of the other things that I feel kind of bad about right now is that I'm still having to be in the workforce. Now, granted, I'm only 58, but we're taking away from jobs that the young people are looking at. I'm graduating in the spring '08, and here I am looking for a job just like the young people are.
Americans are changing their game plan for retirement, working past retirement age into their 60s and beyond. People approaching senior citizen age are turning to part-time jobs as well as hitting the books again. CSUN professor Shirley Savoni says there is another reason people are not retiring.
Some firms are offering deals to workers, to baby boomers, to get them to stay on, like better hours, or just because they have a lot of talent and the firms don't want them to leave.
Patricia Overley is an actor who has returned back to school because of the economy and says,
"There's no official time. Look at Tandy. She won her Oscar, I believe, in her 80s. So I don't think you really retire."
In days when economic problems are looming, there is one thing to remember.
As a human being, your responsibility is to constantly educate yourself because in the world we're living in, especially today, everything's changing so fast that you either play or you get left out.
And for those looking to retire when that age comes,
They shouldn't count on the government because I don't know that that's such a good idea. So I would encourage everybody who's out there who's young to start saving now.
In Northridge, Julie White for Valley View News. Burned out vehicles, file cabinets, and rubble. That is nearly all that is left of the Oak Ridge Mobile Home Park. Residents are finally able to return back home to assess the damage that was done from the fire that blazed over the weekend. But with over 500 homes lost, residents say there is not much to save. In the midst of disaster is a little ray of hope as San Fernando Valley residents are pulling together to give victims a happy Thanksgiving. A local high school did a special drive of their own for the fire victims.
The question was, what are they doing on Thanksgiving since they don't have a home to come to? So we have a cooking club, and Chef Higgins, who heads our cooking club, got his students together and they committed to cook the morning of Thanksgiving.
And local churches held a donation drive at Silmar Park where fire victims could get staple foods, clothing, and even toys for the kids. One volunteer says he hopes fire victims will benefit from the generous donations.
And this time of hopelessness and things like that they might find a little bit of hope, just a little bit. Yeah.
In Silmar, Julie White for Valley View News. Freddy, Jason, Leatherface. That's just 3 of the terrifying creatures haunting Universal Studios this October. During the daytime, it is quiet, and one can see exactly how the park is set up. But when that sun sets on any given weekend, it's an entirely different story. Fear Factor Live becomes Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. Waterworld becomes Slaughter World. And Chucky is here with his very own Inside Emporium. That, complete with 4 frightful mazes and the new and improved Terror Tram, gives visitors an extra scare. This year, employees that went to the previous night showed mixed reactions for how well this year's characters did their job.
I thought that was really neat, and they brought it back again this year, and it's actually probably better.
I was not satisfied. The best part was the end when it was over.
For the 3rd consecutive year, Universal Studios Hollywood is hosting Halloween Horror Nights. For just $39, a guest may come in after the park closes and experience a fright. Julie White for Valley View. Hello and welcome to OnPoint. I'm Julie White, and today we will look at the comic book industry and how it has changed and is still changing through emerging media like movies. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Julie.
Dr. Hatfield, what do you think people are looking for in a comic book?
Well, they're looking for some kind of reading experience, and they're looking for an unusual reading experience that is fun to gaze at.
Steve, how does this make you feel being a writer and knowing people are this excited about comic books to go out and dress up in their famous...
Julie, I hope in 10 years, if not less, someone will be wearing a Z-Blade outfit to a movie, and I can sit here and chuckle with glee as I adjust my seat because my wallet is so full. I think that's great.
Since Watchmen was advertised to come out, how has this affected the sales of Watchmen merchandise or comic graphic novels?
It's amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. In fact, actually, when Dark Knight came out, the trailer was actually shown to most audiences for Watchmen. The Watchmen trailer was shown, and I mean, it was amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Horses typically are considered, they're very big, so they might be considered dangerous, and a lot of people might be rather afraid of them. How do you reassure a parent, and this is for you too, or anyone that might be fearful of their child's life or their life?
I think that's part of the bittersweetness, why horses are one of the animals that are chosen, because it helps you to overcome so many other fears.
And yes, we do have parents that are quite fearful because, of course, you're bringing a child with a disability into this environment with these huge animals. But, you know, once they've experienced it and watched the way that we operate, we're incredibly safe. Safety is our #1 main issue, main concern. We have, obviously, lots of volunteers that help, and the kids always ride a helmet. So, yeah, once they've realised that we are very safety conscious, most parents are very comfortable with.
Now, you've got a child in that situation, and then they're controlling a 1,200-pound horse because the horse wants to.
I want to thank you guys both for joining me. My name is Julie Moree, and this is OnPoint.